What if the most dangerous individual in any room isn't the tireless worker, the high achiever, or even the intellectual? What if it's the person labeled as lazy? You know, the kind, grand ambitions, visionary ideas, yet never seems to deliver in the traditional sense. Society sees laziness. Carl Jung saw something else entirely. By the end of this discussion, you'll understand why this type of person unnerves those around them, maybe even you. Or perhaps you are that so-called lazy, ambitious individual. But first, let me explain. Some people are misunderstood as lazy simply because they don't fit society's narrow view of productivity. Comment 1 if you've felt this way yourself. Comment 2 if you've always followed traditional rules about hard work. Imagine stepping into a cafe and spotting two individuals. At one table sits Sarah, furiously typing with her laptop open and planner meticulously color-coded, your quintessential overachiever. At another, Mike appears half asleep, scrolling through his phone, his notebook untouched for the past hour. Which one would you wager has the potential to change the world? Before you answer, consider this. Mike is nurturing an idea that could transform transportation, while Sarah is merely updating her LinkedIn. Mike envisions answers to issues that haven't even crossed Sarah's mind. Meanwhile, Sarah is perfecting her morning habits. Why then is Sarah assumed to be destined for success, while Mike is expected to fail? Here's the uncomfortable reality: we judge Mike because he challenges our foundational beliefs about how success operates. Carl Jung devoted his life to examining individuals like Mike and concluded that society isn't truly afraid of lazy people. It fears the lazy yet ambitious person, as they upend everything we've been conditioned to believe about achievement. But Jung understood something few acknowledge. The so-called lazy, ambitious individual isn't genuinely lazy. Instead, he functions from an entirely different plane of awareness. While others hustle in repetitive loops, he engages in a wholly distinct endeavor, and it's this very approach that has the potential to reshape how we view success. To grasp this, we must explore what unsettles people most deeply. Jung once said, "The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed." But what if someone doesn't react the way you anticipate? If you've ever felt misjudged or overlooked, this message is meant for you. Let's turn conventional thinking on its head. Have you ever felt out of sync with the world's expectations, like your rhythm of working didn't match what society demanded? Comment 1 if you've ever felt guilty for resting when others were working. Comment 2 if you've learned to embrace your own pace without apology. This is the essence of the lazy, ambitious man, a living paradox. He envisions bigger dreams than anyone around him, yet might not rise before noon. He holds transformative insights, yet stays in his pajamas. He perceives potential all around, yet seems to make no move towards seizing it. This unsettles us deeply. If ambition doesn't demand non-stop effort, if brilliance isn't tied to early mornings, if success isn't built on relentless busyness, then what does that imply about the exhausting grind you've been engaged in for years? But things become truly intriguing here. Jung identified a reason why the lazy, ambitious individual evokes discomfort, and it isn't laziness. That uneasy feeling you sense around such a person, Jung gave it a name. And once you understand it, your perspective on productivity culture may never be the same. A quick question. When did you last do something purely because you desired to? Not out of obligation, not for social media, not to align with your objectives, simply because you wanted to. If you can't recall, that's precisely the issue. Jung found that our fixation on productivity isn't truly about accomplishing tasks, it's about affirming our worth. He called this phenomenon the hidden parts of ourselves we're afraid to confront. In modern culture, the greatest shadow is the fear of being perceived as idle, insignificant, or unproductive. But here's what Jung understood. Long ago, we put on a show of productivity. We strive to optimize every aspect of our lives. We grind hustle and share it on social media, not because these methods are truly effective, but because we're afraid of what it means to stop. Reflect on your most recent vacation. Did you genuinely unwind, or were you plagued by guilt and anxiety for not being productive? The lazy, ambitious man experiences none of that guilt. That's exactly what makes him so unsettling. He doesn't fake productivity. He doesn't validate his worth through nonstop activity. He doesn't even pretend to be occupied. And yet this is what confounds people. His ideas often surpass those of everyone frantically racing to stay busy. Jung once wrote, "Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves." So, what is it about the lazy, ambitious man that bothers you? Is it the fact that he defies the rules you've been made to obey? That he refuses to trade the present for future security? That he doesn't treat life as a puzzle to solve with tighter scheduling? But maybe the issue isn't him. Maybe the real issue lies elsewhere. Let me reveal something important first. Jung made a key discovery about the mind that clarifies why this person generates such groundbreaking ideas even while seeming inactive. This is what productivity experts won't tell you. Your unconscious mind is vastly more creative than your deliberate conscious thoughts. Most of what you've learned about how ideas emerge is completely backward. Jung said, "The creation of something new is not accomplished by the intellect, but by the play, instinct, acting from inner necessity. The creative mind plays with the objects it loves." Read that again. Creativity stems from play, not from grinding, hustling, or goal setting, but from genuine engagement and joy. Einstein developed the theory of relativity while daydreaming. Tesla envisioned his inventions during leisurely evening strolls. Jung himself made his greatest discoveries during periods others labeled as unproductive. So what's actually going on inside the lazy, ambitious man's mind, while others assume he's just wasting time? He's not aimlessly scrolling. He's not truly being unproductive. He's tapping into a mental process most never reach, allowing his unconscious mind to process data on a profoundly deep level that many can't even comprehend. As you push yourself through yet another productivity system, he's effortlessly linking ideas you haven't even noticed. That's why his innovations seem to arise out of nowhere. But in truth, those ideas aren't spontaneous. They stem from deep ongoing unconscious processing taking place silently, while others misjudge him as idle. Think back to Mike in the coffee shop. As Sarah tweaked her LinkedIn profile, Mike's mind was tackling transportation challenges that hadn't even entered her awareness. Jung referred to this as active imagination, a state where the conscious mind recedes, allowing the unconscious to offer its insights. Here's the astonishing part. This process can't be forced planned or fine-tuned. It unfolds in its own time, free from external control. That's precisely why society finds the lazy, ambitious man so threatening. He's accessed something ungovernable, unmanageable, and incompatible with any productivity system. Jung believed that the most frightening act is to fully accept oneself. The lazy, ambitious man has done what most people never do. He's embraced the way his mind naturally functions. And that self-acceptance grants him access to a power that no life hack or productivity tip can replicate. Yet this also positions him as a threat to something far more significant than just personal efficiency. Now, we arrive at the true reason society fears the lazy, ambitious man. And it's not merely about personal success, it's about power. Jung stated, "The individual has always had to struggle not to be overwhelmed by the tribe. But the lazy, ambitious man doesn't fight the tribe, he disregards it entirely. And that is deeply unsettling to anyone who benefits from your conformity." Consider this. Our entire social structure is built on a single belief. You spend 16 years in school being trained to obey instructions. You enter the workforce to exchange time for money. You purchase goods to display your social rank. You fine-tune your life for increased productivity, but to what end? The lazy, ambitious man observes this entire setup and poses a single radical question. Why? And the troubling truth is, no one has a convincing answer. He possesses ambition without anxiety, dreams without frantic urgency, and ideas unburdened by the pressure to instantly generate income. This unpredictability makes him dangerous. Systems that rely on consistent, predictable behavior can't tolerate someone who doesn't play by the expected rules. But there's an even deeper fear that haunts people. What if the lazy, ambitious man is actually correct? What if pursuing ambition without stress is actually more powerful? What if dreams followed with calmness have a higher chance of coming true than those chased in a state of panic? If that's the case, then countless individuals have endured needless suffering, giving up their mental well-being, their connections, and their joy for a system that was never intended to benefit them. The lazy, ambitious man stands as living proof that a different path exists, one that doesn't rely on non-stop output or ceaseless self-improvement. Jung stated, "Your vision becomes clear when you look into your heart. Who looks outside dreams. Who looks inside awakens." The lazy, ambitious man is looking inside, and what he sees there doesn't match what society tells him he should want. This becomes personal because Jung himself embodied this notion. He was, in fact, the lazy, ambitious man of his era, and his life demonstrates it. His peers believed he was squandering his talents. The academic community dismissed him as overly mystical. Society saw him as gifted but impractical. Jung spent years in apparent idleness, delving into his inner world, formulating ideas that seemed irrelevant and filling journals that no one read. Sound familiar? That is the same criticism often directed toward the lazy, ambitious man today. Yet Jung understood something his critics could not. He embraced the unsettling truth that his mind operated differently. His value would come not from external accomplishments, but from inner exploration. This acceptance led to groundbreaking insights that reshaped psychology. The collective unconscious personality, archetypes, the shadow, and the anima, animus. All these core concepts influencing how we interpret human nature today. They are today emerged from what appeared to be idleness, but was in reality profound, deliberate, unconscious work. This mirrors a recurring pattern among history's most influential thinkers. To those around them, they seemed idle because they were not visibly engaged in measurable productivity. Einstein described it as combinatory play. Tesla called it mental experimentation. Jung referred to it as active imagination. Society, however, dismissed it as laziness. The modern lazy, ambitious man is walking the same path. Like Jung, he is waiting, not forcing his vision through conventional means, because he instinctively knows those methods cannot bring forth what he aims to create. He waits for the precise moment, the right idea, the right alignment of circumstances that will let his inner vision surface. To others, this patience still resembles laziness. Here is what Jung understood: that our society is only beginning to grasp the lazy, ambitious man is not defective. He is evolved. Much of what you've been taught about ambition is meant to keep you confined. Perhaps you are starting to see yourself reflected in this description, questioning if you might be one of the people society has wrongly labeled. Jung once wrote, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. But becoming who you truly are requires a different kind of courage." Let me point out the signs. If you are the lazy, ambitious man, realizing this truth could transform your entire life. The first sign: your ideas often seem to arise spontaneously. While others labor over research and planning, solutions simply appear in your mind. You may not be able to explain their origin, but they resonate with a truth that methodical ideas often lack. The second sign: conventional productivity strategies leave you feeling worse, not better. Whenever you attempt to follow someone else's system, it feels like you are fighting against your own nature. The third sign: your energy comes in irregular waves that don't align with typical schedules. You might be unproductive at 900 a.m., yet brilliant at midnight. You may require 3 days of seeming inactivity before producing a single day of remarkable work. Does this sound familiar? That is not laziness. It is your unconscious mind working at its own pace. Jung revealed that genuine creation does not arise from pure intellect, but from the instinct of play, driven by inner necessity. While others believe you are wasting time, your mind is actually playing. While they push themselves, you are incubating. While they focus on performing, you are quietly processing. But here's the crucial point: society has conditioned you to view these traits as flaws. You've been trying to change yourself to resemble the productive people around you. Jung would advise you to stop. He would insist that your unusual rhythm is not a defect, it is your gift. When you cease resisting your natural rhythm and instead align with it, you unlock authentic ambition. This is not the frantic, anxious drive that leads to burnout, but a calm and patient ambition rooted in self-awareness and confidence in your abilities. That is why your dreams are so expansive. By not draining yourself in the pursuit of imitating others, you preserve energy for visions that align with your genuine potential. That is also why your confidence may appear unearned to others. Do you see yourself in these descriptions of the lazy, ambitious man? Comment 1. If you recognize these traits in yourself, but have struggled to accept them. Comment 2. If you know someone else who embodies this paradox and inspires you. Since your worth is not tied to external approval, you are able to trust in possibilities others deem unrealistic. Yet, embracing this truth about yourself is the most difficult step. This raises the practical question: how can a lazy, ambitious man exist in a world that expects nonstop productivity? Jung maintained that the most frightening act is to wholly accept oneself. Yet once you embrace your nature, you require a strategy. First, stop apologizing for your natural rhythm. Your energy cycles are not random, they are signals. When you sense the urge to be still, it is not laziness speaking, but your unconscious mind requesting processing time. Allow it, safeguard it, protect it from those who try to occupy every moment with activity. Second, learn to distinguish between rest and avoidance. The lazy, ambitious man requires both, yet they carry different qualities. Rest feels calm, essential, like replenishing a battery. Avoidance, however, feels uneasy, filled with guilt, like an attempt to escape. True rest brings forth ideas. Avoidance only produces deeper anxiety. Third, cultivate what Jung described as active patience. This is not idle waiting, but intentional readiness for when your opportunity emerges. While your unconscious works beneath the surface, your conscious mind can gather resources, sharpen skills, and prepare the environment for the moment. Inspiration arrives. Here is the most crucial point: you must stop comparing your progress to others' timelines. Society demands immediate results. Productivity culture sells the idea of achieving goals in 90 days. Social media glorifies instant success. But Jung grasped a deeper truth. The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. That transformation does not follow a fixed timetable. Your ambitions may require years to materialize. Your ideas may need time to ripen. Your breakthrough might not occur until you are 40s, 50, or even 60. And that is not failure. It is mastery. Consider this: every lazy, ambitious man throughout history was accused of wasting his potential. Jung himself did not release his most influential works until his 60s. For decades, his ideas appeared impractical. Yet when the right moment arrived, all that he had been silently nurturing became profoundly significant. What looked like laziness was actually preparation for contributions that ultimately outlived those of his more visibly productive peers. This pattern repeats itself time and again. The individual written off as lazy eventually presents something transformative, while others were consumed with maximizing efficiency. He was refining authenticity. While they adhered to borrowed systems, he was cultivating his own insights. While they busied themselves with the appearance of productivity, he was becoming a person whose productivity held genuine meaning. Here's the untold truth about being the lazy, ambitious man: your moment will arrive, but it will not resemble anyone else's. Let me repeat Jung's words. Your vision becomes clear when you look into your heart. Who looks outside dreams. Who looks inside awakens. While others have sought externally, you have been looking inward. While they dream of conventional achievements, you have been awakening. That awakening grants you something productivity culture can never offer: the power to dream without anxiety, to pursue ambition without desperation, and to create without strain. Your moment, however, will not arrive with grand announcements or resemble the heroic journey that films portray. Instead, it will feel quiet, certain as though it was destined all along. The circumstances will fall into place, the timing will feel perfect, and the long incubated idea will suddenly find its path to realization. When that moment comes, all those years that looked like idleness will be revealed as essential preparation. Every day, spent in stillness, was your mind solving problems invisible to others. Every interval of rest was your unconscious forming connections that conscious effort would have overlooked. Society fears the lazy, ambitious man because he embodies an alternative relationship with time, success, and human potential itself. He demonstrates that the real issue may not be lazy people who lack motivation, but rather a system that pathologizes natural human rhythms and pressures everyone into a rigid model of productivity. If you are someone with grand dreams, yet find traditional productivity difficult, if your ambitions appear disconnected from your actions, if others have labeled you lazy, even though your mind is full of possibilities, Jung would identify you instantly. You are not broken. You are not lazy. You are not failing at life. You are functioning from a dimension of human potential that society is not prepared to understand. The question is not whether you will fulfill your ambitions, but whether you will have the courage to trust your process long enough for them to surface. Jung was right. Your vision becomes clear when you look into your heart. Sometimes the most ambitious act is to trust what you see there, even if the rest of the world cannot yet recognize it. The lazy, ambitious man is not society's burden. He is its possibility. And that is precisely why he is feared. The lazy, ambitious man challenges everything society teaches us about success, time, and personal value. Comment 1. If you believe his way of living reveals a deeper truth. Comment 2. If you're still figuring out where you stand. If this video has caused you to view yourself differently, or if you recognize the lazy, ambitious man in your own life, share your thoughts in the comments. What is the biggest dream you've hesitated to pursue because it doesn't align with conventional productivity models? And if you'd like more content that questions everything you've been taught about success, subscribe and turn on notifications, because we are only beginning to explore ideas society would rather keep hidden.